When it's 10 o'clock, you know what time it is. It is not just the bliss and it is not just Ebenezer, but it is Monday motivation. Not just Monday motivation, but JulS Monday motivation. He's been in Egypt and I had to go fetch him and kill those carrots that are pulled by the horses. He's back. My brother.
Oh my God. Hey, Masango.
Yeah,
Good evening, my brother.
All good, my brother, and yourself?
No, man, after that introduction, I don't even know what to say. I'm thinking, Ikamela. Yeah. I'd probably run. Africans, we don't investigate that much. When we see something we don't understand.
My brother.
Oh my God.
All right, God.
Yeah, man. I'm good. I mean, it feels really, really good to be back. I feel like I just landed now. I think now morning is now.
My guy. Let's hear if you've really landed.
No, I've landed.
What do you have for us today?
But good evening to your listeners. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to be here. To those who don't know, this is JulS Motivation, and today we're doing JulS Monday Motivation. This is all about living life by design. Sizelana, sizovuselela, all those lost dreams. The plans or maybe you wrote them somewhere and then 5 years ago. We want to resuscitate those things, and we're saying, you know what, we can rebuild that hope so that you can dream again. So that is what our motivation is always all about.
Mm-hmm.
So today, as I didn't come up with a topic, but I think one thing that I'm passionate about is the success of the other. Nothing gives me greater joy than be successful, and I think that's the motivation behind my motivation. And that's the motivation behind what the Lord has given, and that is, that I want to see you successful. And little people, one of those things is you've got to have faith, so that you can be successful. If you read Mark, as just so that we can take off, if you read Mark 17:20, so if you have a faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, when a mountain move, and that mountain shall move. So you can even say to so many things, so it was not just about the mountain, it's also about being able to command good things to come in your life, like money. One of the things is
yes.
You can also command it to come back, so it goes in that. But let's really dig deep into the fundamental of success, because then what happens when you're successful, but you're not a believer? What happens when you're successful? Our tandas, no tandas. And then there's also people who are successful, and those who are successful, but abatandas, and they don't even believe. And it really goes down to fundamentals, because God set the fundamentals. And if you get the fundamentals, it doesn't matter who you are, it will work for you.
Okay.
So you find people with the idea, but I've been praying and praying and praying. Yeah, yes, you've been praying and praying and praying, but then are you also observant of the fundamentals after the prayer? Because little people, without faith, you cannot please God. But it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of substance. So it's an evidence of things, which means little Bible, faith is also an action word. To faith is an action word. It requires you to act. So if you cannot act, your prayers, so every time he makaceda ukuphilisa umuntu uthi phakama uhambe ke and sin no more. So you don't pray and sit. You pray and then you begin to move. So those are some of the fundamentals that I think we miss them. And the minute we miss them, we find our lives is told, how did we get into this place? And we say, oh, well, life is not fair. And well, my friend, life really is not fair. So we are living in challenging times, Maseko, and I'm thinking, the time is so challenging that it's so difficult for a person to even think positive. as I was driving down Ngelinyilanga, as I drive between provinces, ngisuka East London, and I realized, mang long driver man, there's just endless wheat everywhere, hectares of wheat and grass and trees that, those things we don't eat them. And I'm thinking to myself, can't God, when you drive a long distance, you end up thinking izinto sometimes, and you are
Especially
alone.
you get to appreciate the nature God has created.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, God, why can't we have like hectares of land where I'm only driving past bananas and roses and, apples, all those good things. You don't drive past those things, but, you'll drive past a lot of wheat, things you don't really want. Even on the crack of a mountain, you're gonna see wheat growing there, but never will you see a rose. In order for the rose to grow, somebody needs to cultivate, somebody needs to go to work, somebody needs to begin ukuthi uyisebenze. You need to till the soil so that izokwazi lento ukuthi ikhule. It just doesn't happen. So then I liken this to thinking and the mindset that there's so much wheat in terms of your ability to think as human. There's just so much information which is really not necessarily going to take you where you want to go in life. If you're going to get those things, the necessary things that are going to make you successful, this is what you need to do. Those cultivating things, your reading of the Bible, your attending classes, those are the things that cultivate those positive mindset. You're going an extra mile, activating your faith, because there will be wheat everywhere. There will be things that are not important. All the information coming from this world that will not grow you. If you want the one that grows you, go cultivate that land. So the times are challenging. The times are challenging. So and somebody asked me, but Mkabelang, understand, but how will I become successful? Because how do I start? And I said, if you're gonna get the fundamentals right, the number one thing you need to do is you need to seek to be a valuable person. And mangiti, become a valuable person. What? Okay, but I am valuable. I said, no, but even in your employment, you need to seek to be a valuable person. I said, but, and the question is, how do you add value? And then number one, you need to forget about 8 to 5, honey.
Yo.
Because there's 8 to 5 is not value. We can all go 8 to 5, but the question is, was 8 to 5, did you give 8 to 5 worth of value, or did you go clock 8 to 5 so you can get paid? Okay, so we got the formula for this thing called success wrong. We thought hours worked equals the money that you will earn and that you're going to become successful. No, the more impact you have, the more you give in terms of what? In terms of you giving your time and your effort and rooting yourself into, even as a janitor, then you can then learn how to climb. Now that's value. So if ever umuntu othi wena you're a janitor namhlanje umsebenzi wakho ukucleaner, but ke or ukutopa amaphepha ke, and then utopa amaphepha baruhlezi ushiya amaphepha, but you're telling me you want to run that company, but uhlezi ushiya amaphepha. So where's value there? And you see how thin that line of value is. Ukwatopa amaphepha 110%. Nomuntu orobhayo ozayo kusasa, let's say whoever comes, it's not even the owner of the company, whoever comes and say, oh, who was cleaning here, guys, because whoever was doing this thing, I need to hire that person. Now, do you see what you've done for yourself? Now you've become valuable because you've given value to the work that you're doing. And this thing called repo effect iyasebenza, because they will recognize you. Don't forget about the company. It's fine, great, you must give value there, but recognition shall come even from outside, because your greatness will be out there. So the value is not just about me trying to convince the current company with how I can be. No, it's about me convincing myself of, if it's not 110%, I'm not giving it to you. Simple as that. And that's how you become valuable. Because every time you become valuable, you are strengthening your roots for growth. And I'm not saying this thing as a washy-washy. Guys, it works. You know, I'm running one of the best corporate right now at the top, like at the top of the food chain. And you know, I started as a casual, you know. And into bank you know, one day I want to be a manager. Sport a flow, and they laughed at me. They said, "Ubheke lana, do you think you're gonna become a manager? We've been here for 6-7 years. Kere my guy, me, I'm not gonna be here for 7 years." You know, and the following day I went and I made a mistake. You know, they even laughed at me worse, my guy. You know,
there's no chance you becoming a manager.
there's no chance.
If there was, you just blew all your chances.
You just blew it up. But you know what? The zeal that I had inside of me, which tells me now, you know, when you give me something, I want to do it with my heart. No Adam. You know, Adam, when they gave him and say, Adam, your first job it's to name the animals and till the land. No salary, no payments were mentioned, you know. Those things fulfilled him, and God provided. And if that's the mentality that you're gonna have, and I promise you, oh gosh, it's cut. And I promise you, the Lord will provide. Be seek that thing to be valuable. No, we can't do without juke. We sting with juke up. Why? Because of the value you're giving them. And some people are gonna come and say, yeah, but they're using you. No, they're not using me. I am using my time for them. They don't understand. You understand? With mausuka, but no, we've made a big mistake, you know. So those are some of the things as you seek to be valuable. And the second one, if you look at Mark 11:24 and continue speaking about faith as well, I think Mark 11:24 it speaks about how you pray, how you receive things. It says that you believe, right? It says you pray, you believe, whatever you pray for, believe that you have received, and you shall surely what? Receive, and you shall have it at the end. So you see that the having it is at the end, but you receive it first. It says, believe you're receiving it, and then you'll have it. So you receive it in order for you to have it. And again, that's a mentality shift of cultivating those fundamentals of success to say, you know what? I want to be successful in this thing. Am I investing my time into it? Am I investing my energy into it? Am I investing all that I have? So tomorrow when I look back, I say, Lord, you know what? I've given everything that I can give. Wow. I withhold nothing from this, you know.
Roses are cultivated.
Roses are cultivated. 90% of us who become dissatisfied at our workplace is because of you've taken the 9 to 5 and you've engraved it so much in your life that Mondays are so miserable for you.
Whew. I hear someone saying that you're 1 month away from being bankrupt.
Exactly.
So if your 9 to 5 doesn't pay you, you're done. It's finished with you.
You are done. You're like, I'm done. No, that's your ground. That's your cultivating ground. You know, you should be excited about those times because we all started there, right there, the bottom. But you're gonna cultivate yourself up bit by bit because faith needs you to act. Yeah. Immediately after you've prayed, you've got to go and say, Lord, I've prayed, but now I'm going to work on the work that you have given me to do. In closing, you've got to live your life. Number one, we said we're living life by design. It's because don't leave it to chance, because then you become a chance tomorrow. Then become a chance taker. When Angie, chance taker. Live life by design. That's our slogan. Live life by design. Go Jeremiah. I think it's Jeremiah 25. I should have gotten these things. Oh gosh, Lord, are we still good on time, sir?
Yes, we are.
In Jeremiah 25, I always say this to myself. Jeremiah 25, he says, I'm the Alpha and Omega, and I'm the beginning and the end, saith the Lord. And he says, he who was and is to come, you know, the Lord Almighty. And then I thought to myself, and I said, you know, if you think of God, him saying he's the ancient of time, he's the Alpha and Omega, Okshutlumunt was there before everything, right? And he says he's there after everything, right? So then do not worry as a believer if you have problems, because you're working with the ancient of time. You're working with a person who already orchestrated every solution for the problem. So before there was a problem, there was a solution. That is why he's the Alpha and Omega. So you're so stressed with you about this thing. Before even Adam sinned, the lamb was already prepared because God knew this was going to happen.
Before Adam sinned, the lamb was prepared.
The lamb was prepared. The lamb was prepared. Say, mngani wami, busy just part stress ngapha nangapha, but then we're forgetting this thing. We have an Alpha and Omega, the ancient of time who prepared everything already, the solution. So God did not wait for the problem to come with a solution for even your life. Whoever is listening, He came with a solution.
I can
before you
attest
had
to
that problem.
Because he took them through the route of the wilderness via the sea. He knew that they were going to get stuck in the sea.
We are serving a purposeful God. So guys, as JulS Monday Motivation sit together for this week, please be purposeful about this life. Be intentional about your success. Don't forget your greed. Don't forget, like I always say, your 1 cent matters. So as you go out, you are an addition to this world. You're wonderful. You don't need anybody else to validate that, as the Lord has already validated you. You've escaped many brothers and sisters to get into this world. Millions, by the way, if it's not billions. So when you get here, you matter. You're number one. JulS Monday Motivation.
JulS Monday Motivation. My takeaway is, before Adam sinned, the lamb was prepared. And it's interesting that we speak of the lamb because this Friday, hey, this is not the sanctuary, this is the police. Let me come down.
Fundamentals, those are fundamentals.
After praying,
no, man.
Have you monitored? Have you surveyed? Have you checked?
Injalo.
My brother, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. JulS Monday Motivation. He is going to be here. Every Monday, 10 o'clock. We are not playing right now.
Thanks, man. Thank you to all the listeners as well. Have a blessed night.
Thank you, my brother. God bless you too.
Thank you.
That was JulS Monday Motivation with Julio Mkabela. Please do follow him on TikTok, Julsspeaks, and you will be motivated. Every Monday he uploads. And if you miss it, you know where to come. 10 p.m. The Bliss on Eben Edge, not just radio.